Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Curiosity Conversation with your host, Jimmy Cerrone. It's great to have you here. I'm so thankful. Today, we're going to be talking about the Enneagram, continuing our conversation with the Type 4. So, as usual, we're going to talk about the core of the Type 4, its wings, its directions of integration and disintegration, and recommendations for growth. So, let's start out with the core of the Type 4. At their heart, 4s fear that they have no identity, and their desire is to find themselves. And out of this tension grows the passion or sin of envy, which seems surprising, especially if you know any 4s. They're so unique, there's no one else like them, and they seem to have things that no one else does. But deep inside, this fear of having no identity makes them feel like they don't have life figured out. And so they compare themselves to everyone else, and they think that everyone else has it figured out. And kind of the tragedy here is there's a deep truth in their fear that they have no identity. Everyone to a certain extent doesn't have it figured out. And so there's a tragedy because 4s realize that truth, but they compare themselves to others, not knowing what's going inside others' heads, and they feel really inadequate as a result. So that's the core of the 4, and now let's talk about the wings. On one side, you have the 3, the achiever, and that gets mixed with this individualist, right? And so there's a desire to achieve, but to do it in a unique, tasteful way. 4s are also known as the artists of the Enneagram. And what you get is the aristocrat. They've got refined tastes, they achieve a lot, they have status symbols in society. And on the other side, we have the 5, which is actually a very different type than the 3, very distinct. And the 5 is called the investigators, really concerned with interesting ideas and mental models and worlds. And you mix that with this desire to be unique, and you get this powerful combination. We call it the bohemian. They're very different and avant-garde and willing to really go to extremes. It's a beautiful, beautiful wing combination. Now, let's talk about areas of integration and disintegration. I think disintegration tells us a ton about the 4. 4s disintegrate to Type 2, the helper. But what they take on is this kind of clinginess that happens with some 2s. There's a possessiveness. I think what's going on here is when 4s think they can't find themselves, they want to cling to another. At least they'll find someone else, if not themselves. So that's the disintegration. And in integration, 4s move to Type 1. And they start to take on the principles of the 1. And so they're able to really lead from themselves. They discover who they are and what they value and what they live out. And so there's this kind of peacefulness that comes, kind of calms the turbulence of the 4. So I want to talk about now recommendations for growth for the Type 4. And I think all of them revolve around seeing reality and experiencing it as it is, not kind of as you'd hope it to be or as it would be romantic or nice. Because I think a lot of 4s in their attempts to find themselves, they focus on their inner world, their emotions, their thoughts, and they make those reality. So to kind of counter that, I think meditation is one way of really meeting reality, but also yourself. You have to deal with yourself, and you see that you really are unique. And secondly, I think meditating teaches us to let go of thoughts and emotions. They're information. They aren't us and who we are. And I think that's very valuable for a Type 4. So 4s, the best thing they could do is engage with reality in meaningful ways. Thank you so much for joining me, and look out for more videos. Thanks.